All right, first thing is first. Sorry if you guys hear anything in the background. If it's noise, I live in an apartment. I can't really control it. Second thing, second. All right. Before taking anything into account, I did try to fix the issue myself. I have uninstalled the app, reinstalled the app, deleted all of my files because I uninstalled the app, then re-uploaded a good portion of them to see if that changed the way they function. I went to the settings and checked if I did anything. Then I went to the actual selection accuracy, changed that back, then changed it, and then changed it back, right, to see if that would fix it. And then I left it at a specific point in the selection accuracy to see if that would fix the issue in itself, right? And I also looked for updates just in case there was like something else that I was missing. And I looked through the updates to see if there was something else that I was missing. So I did try my fair share of stuff. I did make a video and see if there was anything you guys suggested that would work. And I did go into my Discord server and seek help to see if anything from there would work. And so far, no beans. So first, I'm going to go over how it used to work, and then the problem, and finally the changes needed to animate. Right. So the how it used to work, right, is essentially I have it laid out down here, but essentially you would have a base stick figure. This is just a regular stick figure, but its thickness is set to 0, and its name is now changed to connector, right? And this would act as your bone in, let's say, a leg, right? It would literally be this, like this, right? As you would see it here. Now, for the sake of just making it slightly more visually appealing and easier to imagine, I will turn the thickness up, right? So that's how the leg would work, right? In fact, it even lines up. You can kind of see it working already, right? From there, in order to add detail or to make the leg, well, like this, right, you would go to this stick figure, which is aptly named a point. If you don't know what a point is, I explained it before in the tutorial, but essentially it is just a base stick figure, right, in the creator node, which is, with all the points or with all the segments deleted, and then made to have more segments branching out in random directions with polyfill to fill the middle of it, right? And from there, you make all of the branching segments, you turn their thickness down to 0. This allows you to make a free-form shape that doesn't have much clunkiness or really much issue at all, right? But from here, right, you would essentially connect this, to the connector, right? Move it around, readjust it, right? And then you would connect that to the main point or the main joint where your leg would normally move. So instead of it being there, sorry, I was going off of how it looked. You would go here, right? Because this is where the joint would actually move, right? You could also put it here. It doesn't really matter. But usually you would put it here, and then you would essentially just flip it back on itself and then make it fill in the spots, right, in order to create a leg. Boom. As you can see, it's already pretty much lined up. This is a very dumbed down version, all right, which you'll see later, but this is essentially how I would do it. And boom, now you see I can move the leg relatively simply, right? There's not much congestion, so the issue is not prominent in this type of situation, right? Now, if I was to zoom out, right, the congestion can get a little bit worse, in which if I try to select the leg point again, right, I actually can't, which brings me to the problem, right? The problem now is that selection priority seems to have changed. So the way that selection priority worked is that essentially it was add-ons second and base stick figure first, right? So the connector would be the base stick figure bone, right? That would have the most priority. And then anything added, even if it was another base stick figure bone, right, would have like somewhat of second priority. And then an add-on to that would have third priority, right? So if I was to space this out, this is the same build as this, by the way. This would be selected first, but if I double tapped while they were all layered over each other, even if I was zoomed all the way out to the maximum distance in which everything blends together like a mess, if I double tapped, it would still select this bone right here. And if I tapped upward to an edge of that bone, it would select the next bone, and then so on, right? And that's kind of what I have here. This is a very simplistic, dumbed down version of how it would work, right? This is the base stick figure movement thing. This is where the joint connects, and this is where the actual bone leads to the thing that makes up its shape. So that's how selection used to work. However, if we break this apart, red here, Boom, right? There's a lot more here, a lot more congestion. If I was to try to, let's say, aim to move his arm, his shoulder blade, right? Which is one of these. God dang it. I have to switch here. There we go. Let's say I want to move his shoulder. So this is the general lines we are looking for, right? Let's move it back. Oops. Let's redo that. I'm going to start from the lower part of his hand. This is how I used to do it. I used to go start from the below and then move my way up the arm into the place that I wanted to select generally, right? So I'm going to zoom out, right? Because obviously I want to see what's going on with his full body, right? And we're just trying to make our way up to the hand using the old selection technique that I used to do, which is just start from below, right? Double tap until I select the main node or the bone node and move up. In my case, I'm not even moving up because of the bone. I'm moving up because I'm selecting all of the details on the bone, but I'm not selecting the bone. Ah, we almost got there. Oh, that's not the shoulder. It's close. Oh, we almost had it. Is that it? No, that is not it. That is still the shoulder blade. Now, for the final part, all right, the changes needed for me to animate or to animate these. Now, before, as I said before, right, you just have to go from below and then go up the leg, right, and then just select everything that you need to select, right, and then move it accordingly to what you want to happen. It was a very simple process. It was tedious, but it was literally the same exact animation style if you were to just use the base stick figure, this dude right here, right? Now, however, right, I have to do a little bit more. So, first things first, my characters rely on that system in order for me to move them properly. As you can see here, in the middle of his nether region, right? The movement thing to move his entire body is located here, right? As you can see up there in the little screen, I am moving his entire body just pressing this, right? So this is how I would move his entire body. However, due to the priority changing, there is so much congestion here, I can't select that anymore. Which means in order for me to move them across the screen without doing it a billion times on repeat and making it tedious, I have to pull up the arrow menu, right? Set the distance I want him to move, then select any part of his body and then move it accordingly, right? Same thing for his head. The head also has the same congestion issue, but I think I can make that one work only because bro has like a little bit of balding. You get me? So yeah, that's one change that I have to do. As for making his body move, such as his limbs do a kick or a punch, right? I actually have to go all the way in, right, to the point that I want to move, find out which one makes it move generally, and which this one does. If you look on the top, you can actually see the leg moving, right? And then I have to go up, go back in, and then look for it again, right? In this case, it should be here, and then repeat this process until I feel like the body is done, right? So this requires me to go in, and you may be like, well, that doesn't seem like a bad thing. It seems like a pretty good solution until you realize that sometimes you need to see the entire body to really know something's lining up. Because if I want him to walk, right, and I'm only looking at this part of the body, there's a chance that I don't make his walk sequence, well, look right. He may glide a bit while walking, and that's not what you want to happen, right? And the final thing is that whenever something is layered under another area that is already congested, right? Basically, it becomes impossible to actually utilize a good portion of the spot without knowing the exact shape of what you are trying to get to move, right? So in my case, right, let's say I'm trying to make him do an uppercut, right? So this is how it would look if I wanted him to do an uppercut. As you can see, there's now congestion. For me, I'm able to see pretty much where his body is located and what parts are located where. For instance, this is his arm. This is his forearm. This is his elbow. This is the chest, right? I am able to see it, but that's only because I built it. This is the strap on his arm, all right? And then you have his actual shoulder blade, which is just clicking up through there, but you fix that later on, all right? The issue is that if I was to zoom out even a slight bit, boom, now I can't even select that. I'm selecting, yeah, I can't even select that. I can select the general area, like the forearm, but I cannot select certain things on the forearm at times. It basically just becomes a tedious process of where's Waldo? Okay. Excuse me, by the way. But yeah, these are the main issues that I have. It makes animating significantly more tedious. It doesn't make animating impossible. In fact, I made a test animation using the same stick figure that I'm talking about the issues with right here. All right. I'll edit it all down so you guys can see it. But yeah, this is the issue that I faced. This is the issue that I'm going through right now. I'm not sure if others are having the same issue as me. All right. So I could sound extremely selfish or even ignorant. I'm very sorry for that. But I really do like animating on this app, and I've invested a lot. I don't want to lose all of it because of a single update. Now we're going to go into a theory I have. All right. So as we all know, if you go into the create new stick figure and you curve a stick figure, right? So we're gonna curve it, right? We'll also make it stretchy so that way it's just a little bit more prominent and bigger, right? Boom. Before, polyfill used to not follow a curved stick figure at all. It wasn't able to. It would just follow the regular line that you're seeing in the middle, right? If we're looking at the current patch notes, this is what was implemented. My best theory and my best guess is that because polyfill was the focus, it somehow made it have higher priority in the files. I don't know. I'm theorizing. I don't code. All right. However, if polyfill did get an update in the files to follow curved stick figures, this means that it should somewhat have a chance to be prioritized due to this current update. I could be wrong. All right. Now, the way that this would line up with the issue is that because polyfill was updated, anything with polyfill or utilizing polyfill would also have higher priority as it utilizes something that was currently updated. That is my guess in theory. I could be completely wrong. If I am, that's just on me. The developer will tell me, okay, I'm sure he will find out something, all right, or some random person from the YouTube comments, all right, but that's my best guess as to what's going on. Now, once again, all right, I've done what I think I could. If I am missing something or something isn't lining up or I could have done something different, let me know. I am totally fine being wrong because if I'm wrong, that means that I actually have a way to fix my issue without having to go through it way more, you know? So do let me know. All right. But this is all I got for right now.